What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. On the left side here, we have Brandon Despia going up against Unchained Fiendsmith. We're going to play in the Unchained Fiendsmith deck here. This is not really much a meta deck. It's very much of a rogue deck. The Fiendsmith cards obviously help it out, and then you have the cards like Abaku, which are very powerhouse of cards with like Nightmare Griffin and stuff like that. We opted to play this because I do miss the Unchained cards. Hopefully Shavar comes at 2, and I'm not really having fun playing Malice or Rizal this format. So wanting to play something that reminded me way back in the day, and why not pick up some of your favorite cards alongside a cool engine until the ban list drops, and then we can play something new. But before we dive on into our like, comment, shop, helps channel a lot. We are going to be seeing Brand Despia end up winning the die roll here. Going to be starting off with a branded opening. This getting a copy of Tragedy, which is going to give them access to the Aluber alongside Quem, being able to play through a copy of Ashing the Branded Fusion, I should say. So we're going to be seeing that resolve now. We're going to be seeing the Branded Fusion as well as Quem being searched, and we're going to be off to the races. We can now normal summon the Quem in the main phase, letting us have the ability to play if we do not get that Ash, which we are going to be seeing them do here. Going to be playing that Quem, and then Quem can dump a copy of the Cartesia or an Albaz, depending on what we have. And if we already have the Cartesia in the hand, there is a debate where you want to actually send Albion instead, being able to activate the effect of Albion to then dump from the deck another Albaz. But we also have a copy of High Spirits in the hand and the copy of Cartesia already. So we're going to go just kind of play through this. We do see the Ash on the Brand of Fusion. Now, this is still going to be one of the better cards to Ash. It does stop. You could debate like, oh, well, you could have stopped Branded opening there, stopping them get both. But if they had Branded Fusion in hand already or a copy of the Aluber, it would have been pretty much done nothing for us. So we let them go into this here, going for the Grand Giganol, which can then summon back or dump here a copy of Sorenir. They do choose to Quem summon back Albaz. I'm not exactly sure why we choose to do that. I feel like that we should have done the Cartesia. I know later in the game they did think that Cartesia summons out from the graveyard during the end phase. So I had a little bit of a misplay of not knowing the cards properly themselves. And we did dump Sorenir, which I definitely think is probably wrong. You want to dump like an Albion from the extra deck. I don't know the exact last card in the hand, but it just feels extremely wrong for ending on this kind of combo. If we would have summoned the Cartesia instead, we would then be able to go up into a second Granganol and then be able to trigger up the Quem whenever we want to bring back out that copy of Albaz using whatever monster they have on the field, or we can just wait till they go for a Link Summon here. What we are going to be able to do, well, there's no real way to play around this, but they already have the Albaz on the field, so we don't have to really worry about it in this case. So, we're going to be seeing Unchained kind of pop off, going for Tour Guide, letting off go into Rhino, linking off into the Yama. Yama's going to dump, and then we're also going to be able to set the trap. Then we have the Arua, be able to pop the trap, summoning out itself and the Disaster Dog. And now they are going to ask what the Disaster Dog do, and they are going to think on this. They could activate the Granganol if they want to in this case, but I definitely don't. I don't really know. There's a lot of areas where I feel like they misplayed here. So we do activate the effect of the Disaster Dog, targeting the Quem. They do chain a Forbidden Droplet, sending the Granganol to the graveyard to negate there. Now, not the greatest, because we are going to be able to play through this. Especially if we can just pop the Disaster Dog, be able to summon back one from the graveyard. It's pretty nice. But yeah, the reason why I'm playing the Disaster Dog is I like to have additional pushes. It's really good against the Fiendsmith decks, being able to link away their stuff, or against Malice as well, being able to link away a Link 3 feels pretty busted. We're going to go up into the Anguish, which is once again going to allow us to kind of link summon here. So we're going to use the Albaz and link summon up into it should be like an SP here. We're going to go up for the Abaku, and this will be able to activate effects, discarding for cost, discarding the copy of the Samara, and then they should have chained Quem to this to bring out the Albaz, but I don't really know what they were thinking here. So we're going to be seeing the Granganol trying to get activated. We do Ash that there on the summon of the Abaku, summoning out the Samara. Then we're going to go Samara effect, going to allow us to set a trap, blowing up another card from the graveyard, blowing up the Setting Escape, blowing up the copy of Disaster Dog. Now, Disaster Dog will be able to trigger, as well as the Yama, to and the Abomination, to be able to summon itself out, and this is going to be able to clear up the board pretty quickly here. We're not summoning it from the extra deck anymore, so that Quem's going to be missing out on its activation here, and then we're going to be destroying, summoning out from the graveyard the Anguish, and we're going to be seeing then Samara going to let us summon out the copy of the Shayama, and we are pretty good here. Now, we could go up into a Caesar if we wanted to, maybe let them use that Quem, destroy the Quem if they choose to. Now, they're not playing very well, so I feel like that's definitely going to be a better option. We do some math here, kind of think what they kind of have. Now, they do have the Retribution in the graveyard to allow them to add back the Branded Fusion, but other than that, they're going to be put on top deck, +1 card here. So we're going to go up now into the Caesar. They do not use the Quem. We go battle phase attack, leaving them like on some damage there. We could have activated the effect of the Abomination to discard a card and then pop that Quem, but we just did not, which is unfortunate. I think they're left like 400 life points. Life points will be on the side. I just don't get to see that while we are doing the voiceovers here. They do go Retribution now, adding back that Branded Fusion, and they choose not to add that Cartesia to the hand as well here. So this is like a little bit of a misplay, showing off that if you do not know your branded cards, or you say like branded is an easy deck to play, if you end up missing out on any of these activations, you'll see how far behind you are. So we're going to see a High Spirits now, showing off that Albion here, which is going to be the top deck. Obviously, I would have used it the last turn if we would have had it. But yeah, we're going to send the Albion to the graveyard here. And then we can add, if we want to, we're going to send the Albion as well to then add a copy of Cartesia. So this is where we would have been able to add a Cartesia to the hand, or already had the Cartesia to the hand, so we would have been able to special summon that out and kind of play off, as well as, you know, being able to summon Albaz at some point and using like it to make a Mirror Jade or like an Albion, whatever you really want to, Rebellion, whatever, depending what you kind of have. You probably wouldn't like Lilian because you need another discard, but like having those stuff there to play through the stuff, having like double Granganol, so during the follow-up turn we can make another play, is very important there. So, you know, kind of showing you guys off, like if you do not play Branded at the best capacity, how far behind you'll fall. And a lot of players are like, well, Branded's not really good of a deck. In the right hands, Branded is an amazing deck, but if you do not know your combos correctly, you will fall behind. It's a very technical deck, which a lot of people just do not recognize, like in the current game. Like, you know, you have Snake Eyes, which was a technical deck, but also like could get you there with a normal summon Ash, Search Poplar, like pretty basic combo lines. Even like Rizal, you could end up misplaying and not going for the most optimal combo, starting off with like you have X or Ice in your hand, but you can still get to those winning turns. While for Branded, if you do not play correctly, you will just lose the games. That could be like very winnable in some certain scenarios. So that definitely is like a big issue for the deck. Now we do have just Albaz as well as the Branded Fusion, and they ask us, well, how I couldn't have kind of continued. I shouldn't have, you know, done that. He's like, well, you had the Tragedy. You could have like normal summon, activated the effect, you know, done that. This is going to be available also in the POV, so if you want to get a different perspective of how the game is played, definitely check that out on the channel. I think it's going to be up either Wednesday or Saturday for this one here. You know, POVs are just awesome. You know, it is like the GoPro on our forehead, showing you guys off. You can hear the audio as well. So we kind of explain like what we are doing, the thought process as well. A lot of times, like I pointed at the cards, I should have used this right now, or I explain my misplays exactly in the moment. Or like if my opponent's playing, obviously, with a different skill set, they explain, like you saw there, point out the Tragedy, like you could have like Tragedy, banished, set the Branded Fusion, activate the Branded Fusion that turn, and kind of play through it. Because, you know, locals is all about helping people getting better at the game. You know, you want to have the best testing as well as the best hands and knowledge possible. You know, you grow as a community that way, which is pretty nice. You don't want to be like, oh, well, I'm just better than everybody else, and this is why I play. I like helping people. I need help myself. You know, I'm not the best duelist at all, but having like the information that you can share, or watching a lot of replays, or playing a lot of DB and stuff like that, there are always going to be better players than you, and just learning from any experience is always going to be the nicest that you can have. So trying to share that information is always the greatest, because then next time you play, you're going to play a better duel, where, you know, you get to play for more fun, more challenging, and you can make yourself a better duelist as well when you're playing against better players. But diving into game 2, we're going to be seeing Branded once again choose to go first here, and they Branded opening, discarding a copy of Ido. Are we going to get Idol locked? I'm going to be honest. Idol locking is pretty copium. I don't really think that it's going to be great right now. I think that you definitely can play it. I don't know if I would. This is a 50 card or 55 card build he's playing. I think it was. I did ask in the POV, but we do get Ido locked in this match, I should mention, but we do play through it pretty easily, I believe. So we're going to see the Aluber being summoned, and then we're searching for a Branded Fusion once again. And please, Konami, bring this card back to 2. We definitely need it. We deserve it. Branded is not that much of a threat right now. It's a good deck in the right hands, but there's so many decks that do exactly what it does, but better, while being able to play lots more hand traps and more like a concise deck. So I definitely think that Branded Fusion can come back to 2. I wanted to say 3, but, you know, let's be realistic here. They're not going to give us back to 3 immediately. We're going to see the Quem being normal summoned, activating the effect, dumping the copy of Cartesia now. And we do have like the Retribution, Cartesia, Branded Fusion. We have also a Branded in red in our hand as well. So we're going to go Branded Fusion now, dumping the Albaz alongside a copy of the Lubellion here, going up for the Albion. Then we're going to see Quem bring back out the Cartesia, a very basic line that everyone should know. We are going to be seeing the Albion being made. And then we do go Albion, Quem, and here I believe I chain a Bestial on the Albaz. This forces them to have another Albaz in the hand, or getting rid of an important part here. So that definitely is a well-timed Bestial, and this is where you see the advantage of knowing the matchup. So having the well-timed Bestial forces them to either have the Albaz in the hand, or they're going to lose access to any of those Albaz monsters. Now that we're talking about in the duel, in the POV, where what they can make, if they have Light and Dark Dragon, they do have that. They could make that with the Albion alongside Lubellion in the graveyard, but they will lose access to the Albion as well as the Lubellion sitting in the Lost Up, so it's not the greatest for them. They have the option here that you choose to go for the Granganol, but they also have the Quertus as well if they do play it, and I believe also a Priskinian because they do control a Light in the Dark. So we see them make the Granganol here, and that's going to make them lose access to that Cartesia as well as the Aluber in the graveyard, which people do tend to forget about quite a bit. That has that effect to kind of summon out and negate, which is pretty huge. We're then going to see the Lubellion tag out for the Albion, sending the copy of the Branded Lost, and we're going to be seeing the Granganol send the copy of the Albion to the graveyard. I, again, don't necessarily agree with this. I know it counts as Albaz in the graveyard, which is why they do it, but personally myself, I feel like I'd send the Titanic Lad from the extra deck, letting us search for another Albaz. We're going to be seeing the Thrust going to be activated, letting us set, or I guess add to the hand, a copy of Fusion Duplication, and they do set that card there. But then later on, they're going to set another card, so I don't really know if I would do that. We're going to be seeing the Branded Opening being added to the hand off the Retribution. They're going to set another card as well, the Branded Opening. And then we're going to be seeing the end phase of Albion going to let us set the Branded in red directly from our deck. So we have one card left in the hand. We have a Lost as well as the Cartesia here and Granganol, but again, this is not going to be that much of a difference. We're going to see the Engraver search for Track. We're going to activate Track here, where that's going to let us discard Lurie, summon with the Lurie here, and we're pretty much off to the races. We're then going to link away into Requiem, and then we're going to activate the Requiem effect, and they do go Fusion Duplication here. We should have chained, we should have priorityed Requiem, because we do have the priority here. But I don't think it makes that much of a difference in the long run. We're going to be seeing the Fusion Duplication. We chain the Requiem there. That's going to let us summon the copy of Lacrima. And then they are going to go for the Fusion Dupe. Now, what's important to note is that they're not protected off of Lost, because the last effect that activated was a card copying an effect. So that's very important when you are, playing under Lost. This does not trigger that Lost protection effect here. So they're going to go for copying Branded Fusion, using the Albaz as well as the Cartesia. And this is the second Cartesia, so if they're not playing 3, if we find a way to get rid of this, it's going to be quite beneficial for us. We're going to see the Albion being made, then we're going to go Chainlink 1, not mandatory, but because we are a turn prayer, we can go Chainlink 1, Lacrima. Chainlink 2 is going to be the Albion. Chainlink 3 is going to be the Lost. I guess I go Chainlink 2 Lost, Chainlink 3 Albion here. Does not really matter. We're going to search for a copy of the Rinbrum. And then we do go up now into the Idol Lock, and they do give us they do summon an Albaz for themselves. Again, this is probably wrong. You should have went for the Cartesia, so you can go up into a Granganol and then trigger the Quem at some point. But we're going to now go for the Phoenix in Paradise, because they monster was summoned to our side of the field. Then we're going to go for the Desiree, putting back the Lurie, and this is definitely a card I would negate. We're going to get rid of the Ido here. So now we can continue playing once again. So this is definitely a mistake. I would Rinbrum this, or not Rinbrum, but Mercurial this every single time. There's zero chance I wouldn't just Mercurial this. It's our win con, and we just let them kind of resolve. Now we go up to a Light and Dark Chaos Angel, and it's going to be extremely hard for Brand to actually out this Light and Dark Chaos Angel completely here. So we're going to go for the Chaos Angel, and we're going to just out the Albion, and we're going to be sending the Quem to the graveyard off of that, off of the Lubellion, or the Truest from here, but I think that was a normal summon monster, so I don't really know if we could have done that there. We now go up into normal summon tour guide. They do negate that with the courier, and then we go up into the engraver summoning itself back out. They now go branded in red, and they're going to banish their second Albaz here, adding back that Quem, letting us go up into a Guardian Chimera. Now they're going to be able to pop both the cards, but we still have the Chaos Angel, and then we're going to be able to activate the effect of the Abomination, discarding the copy of Archaea to just non-targeting pop, and we are pretty nice. We say, okay, can I see your graveyard? We see branded right in the banishment. It should not be in the banishment. It should be in the graveyard there. You want to see what they have banished. So we do realize that this should not be there. Put that in the graveyard. But they have 2 Albaz gone. They have 1 Cartesia gone. And 1 Quem. They might be only on 1 Quem. I know 1 Quem is pretty popular right now. But if they just get rid of the third copy of Albaz, we're going to be in this, and we're going to essentially just guarantee the win here. We have to find a way to get that last Albaz kind of banished. So we do destroy the Albion Sanctifier because it cannot be targeted, so we just do an on-targeting pop. Then we do a battle phase attack, dealing another 3,000 damage here. At this point, the only card they really have to out this Light Knock Chaos Angel is going to be a copy of Branded Fusion, and that's going to just give them access to the Albaz, or to Mirror Jade here, and Mirror Jade will have to destroy itself to then be able to trigger it. So we're in a pretty much good position here. They do go up into the Aluber. We're going to be able to search for Branded in white, and we do add the Cartesia back to the hand. We do see where they summon itself out, so definitely like showing off a little bit of a knowledge check. Not knowing what your cards do exactly. Now, they do have Branded in white here, which is pretty important because they do have the Albion in the graveyard acting as the Albaz, so they will be able to banish that to use itself as Albaz, which is important to note. It's not only like if we get rid of the Albaz, the third Albaz in the deck, the game's now over. They do have that Branded in white in rotation to kind of copy the effect of it, just making that Albion be an Albaz, which is pretty cool for them. So they have multiple ways to get out of this Chaos Angel kind of lock. They do summon out the Cartesia because we do, of course, have that Albion in the graveyard. Once again, acting as the Albaz, they do activate the effect of Fusion Summoning. And now they have to be careful because they do have a Luber as well. We're going to go for Granganol. Granganol can then dump a Titaniclad as well as get the Lost Search, but we're going to be dumping from the deck here. So definitely not the greatest. We see the Albaz being searched off of the good old Lost, and the target has now been acquired. This is what we're going to go for here. So we see them looking through their deck, kind of deciding what they want to dump. And I didn't the Sornier, and Sornier can really dump an additional card. But if you look here, there's not actually many good targets they end up dumping. They dump High Spirits, and this is not what I want to do. I personally would dump a card from the extra deck, being like a Rinbrum or something like that, or a Titaniclad, and not searching for that Albaz. Now we do activate the Branded in white, sending the Albaz to the graveyard, and this is a very risky play. I personally, I'd be horrified of this because I know that if my Albaz gets outed, we're done. We have to go for Lubellion and kind of shuffle back 2 of the Albaz to go for a Boral if we do play it, but they choose to go for a Mirror Jade instead here, which means that Lubellion is going to be save for later. If we get rid of that Albaz, it's going to be very hard for us to kind of get rid of this. They're kind of tunnel visioning on getting rid of this Chaos Angel at the point. And I mean, in the POVs, you'll see that it's mentioned quite a bit. You can't out a Chaos Angel. There's only one way you can out it in this deck is going to be with the Mirror Jade. So once you get into that tunnel vision kind of view, it's really hard to get yourself out of it because you don't even realize you're doing it at the time. Now, obviously, as commentators or spectators in this case, we just realize, oh, he's tunnel visioning. What's he doing? But when you're playing in the active gameplay, you're just trying to get rid of a target that you think is going to be the life be-all, end-all. And it's just quite hard. We're going to see the Mirror Jade activate its effects, sending Titanic to the graveyard, banishing that copy of Abomination here. And they're going to simply pass turn. There is a debate where you can go attack into the Chaos Angel, destroy itself, and then get the effect to destroy our field. But again, it's not going to be the greatest here. We're going to see the Quem going to be summoning itself out off of the Titaniclad, dumping the Albion, now having the second copy of Albaz in the graveyard. And we're going to go for the Lacrima, summon out the Requiem here, and you kind of just pass turn on this. So we are going to be thinking now, we have the Requiem ability to go up into the Lacrima, giving us access to more Fiendsmith cards. Now we do have the Paradise already gone, and we have to find a way to deal with this Mirror Jade, but not give them enough time to kill us because we are approaching time. Now, this is game 2. They are down life points. They're down 3,000 here. So it's pretty hard for them. Now, we're going to go for a branded. We're going to go for a branded in red here. It's going to lend someone with a copy of the Lubellion that we're going to be discarding a copy of branded opening. And then we're going to be banishing that Albion as well as the Mirror, or Albaz as well as the Mirror Jade here. And then we're going to be using Lubellion, and we're going to be using, for Lubellion, we're going to be discarding the copy of branded opening. We're then going to be using the Albaz and the banishment as well as a Gragonol to go up into a second Mirror Jade here. And then we're going to be searching for the Mercurier off of the branded Lost. And we then get to summon out off of Quem. We summon out the copy of Albion. I've never even seen this card being summoned on the field, I'm going to be honest. So I don't really know what the point of this was. Maybe it's trying to get another body so we don't just get able to kill them. But it's still pretty random. We're going to see the Lacrima being summoned, Lacrima being a Raver. And we are still trying to find a way to get rid of this Mirror Jade. We do read the Mirror Jade. It does say card, not card effect. So if we do link off with it, it will trigger the effect, which is important to note. Sometimes you got to read the card. You know, why are you reading Mirror Jade? You should know Mirror Jade. You have like 50 copies of Mirror Jade. Well, it's important to note the exact wording of the card because, if you do link off a tier monster, they do not trigger, even though they're sent to the graveyard for a card effect. It's for a link summoning, which is not a card effect. It's a mechanic, but this says card, so even if you hide it does trigger, which is important to note. But that's what you kind of have to just make sure you know what the cards do. We now go off into a Yama being normal summon with the Tour Guide, going for Rhino. Then we go up Yama and Rhino going to be dumping the Shavara as well as searching for the Arua. And then we're going to see Shavara effect when we sending out a trap being the escape here. And we haven't really accessed any of the Unchained line, which is our main engine in the deck. So we're now going to be able to go up into the whole Unchained part of this, setting, blowing up stuff. And I love destroying my cards, but I hate Fire King. So we're going to be seeing the Shayama being brought out. And this is going to be a pretty nice cleanup here for Unchained. Being able to pop a lot of that board. But leaving that Mirror Jade pretty much just here for a while now. Now we do go for the Arua effect, so we are Fiend locked. Important to note that we do get Fiend locked from this for the rest of the turn. Then we go up for an Anguish here. Anguish will be able to activate the effect using itself and the Quem to now go up into a Rage. Now we're going to go Shayama effect targeting the Samara as well as the Lost. And then we're going to be going up into Yama as well, bringing back the Shavara. We're going to see the Samara bring out the Disaster Dog here. And then we can go up into a Caesar if we want to. Now, if we're doing all this, this means that we're not going to be attacking over that Mirror Jade. We're just up a pretty big board to kind of to clear it off. Now, they are down on life points, and this is game 2. So we're just trying to make sure that we just do not have enough. They don't have enough time to potentially just kill us. So we set up a pretty decent board so they just cannot battle phase, crash, and then continue going. We set up a nice combo here. We're also going to free up our link zone here. And then we're going to go battle phase, attack. They do... we do take those 2 out. And look in their graveyard here. I think they have a Mercurier still in the hand, if I'm not mistaken. And they don't have Albaz anymore. So we're going to go Disaster Dog, target the Gragonol to go up into an SP. But we can't do that because we did activate the Arua effect earlier here. And we're going to target the Albion, but we cannot do that. Okay, we do realize that. Okay, so somebody pointed out, I believe, how are you not Fiend locked by this time? So we do go up into this. Gragonol should still be on the field in defense position here. But it's not going to make that much of a difference at this point. Yeah, and time does get called. And they are thinking, is there a way for me to kind of out this here? But they do go Cartesia, summon herself out. We negate, or we let it go through here. then we're going to go Rage. Rage going to activate targeting the Cartesia. They don't want to chain the Cartesia there because, you know, they don't want to get rid of that copy of the Mirror Jade. We're going to go for the SPL Knight now, getting rid of that Cartesia. And we're going to go Battle Phase. Then we're going to go Disaster Dog, target, and destroy. And then we're going to be seeing the destruction of Disaster Dog. And then they are going to think on this here. They're going to chain the Mirror Jade, sending the Rinbrum to the graveyard. Now, they are down 3,000 life points, so no matter what they do here, they're not going to win. And time does get called, I believe, in the battle phase, if I'm not mistaken. But, like, there's not much they can do at this point. You know, they are down 3,000. We're going to chain the SP, getting rid of both of them, essentially making it so that they just cannot beat over any of our guys to deal us any damage, really, here. And so we end up kind of winning the game. Like, yeah, in the end, Mirror Jade would summon out and destroy all our stuff. But we're pretty much chilling because we have like Disaster Dog as well as not Disaster Dog. We have the Shavara as well as the Shayama being sent to the graveyard. We're going to be setting a trap from the deck, and then we have like Lurid and Normal, which is not the greatest, but like at the same point we still have like Lacrima to summon herself out. We have Desiree available for us. We have the whole Unchained package going to be able to be brought back out, making a Yama and stuff like that. And we do lose the Light and Dark Chaos Angel, but it's not really that much of a difference here because we can just kind of continue playing. But we do see Unchained end up winning here against Branded. A little bit of a bunch of misplays, tiny misplays from the Branded player. But regardless, hope you're watching the channel, or hope you enjoyed watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, more content like this. We're going to check some new stuff on the channel soon. I'll probably be playing Branded Despia very soon if it's not a ban list anytime. And if there is a ban list, hopefully we'll get Branded Fusion back to 2, as well as Shavara back to 2 as well. And if it stay safe, peace, have a great day.